What's up, everybody? Got a couple things that are coming up that are pretty cool. The first thing is right now we're gonna head over to Vision Stitch. You guys seen it in one of my past videos. Gonna pick up a different colorway of this style hat. I'm gonna make myself a hat for the channel pretty much.
Make a hat for me.
And the second thing is
an answer.
there we go. Like and subscribe.
Subscribe.
We're also gonna be painting the walls. We're gonna changing it from this brown to this green right here. So we'll see how it comes out. It's gonna be a mission, so I will try to document as much as I can, little bits here and there. But if it's too much of a hassle, I probably won't even remember to pick up the camera. But hopefully I can make a separate video for you guys. For now, we're gonna focus on making ourselves a hat. It's a pretty nice day out. Here it is. Here's the blue one. We got our regular auto hats. This one looks like an auto hat, but the brand is Academy Fits. Nice little blue and gray underbrim. So let's get home. Mentioned in the previous video, I think the previous one, we're remodeling our whole workstation. So we got the machine pulled away from the wall. I'll be doing little updates, but it is quite a mess already. Because it's our garage, it's a mix of just junk and work stuff. But so far, we've moved that sweater rack that we had over here. We just scooted it over. We'll probably put the machines, both machines against that wall right there, and then bring that rack across from the other one. So we'll see how that goes. Probably won't finish today, but soon enough we'll get these walls painted as well. This is the color that we're gonna go with. It's looking okay right here, but hopefully once the whole thing is painted, we're looking good. The cable management, I don't know how we haven't been lit on fire yet, but we're gonna move all the computer stuff right here in the middle. But for now, we're gonna put everything in the middle of here so we could paint all across. We got the webs on deck. All right, phase 2, we've gotten everything. Last time we didn't take off the pegboard, so we just painted around them. But we got everything off the walls, and we're gonna start painting. Got the first coat down. Just gotta hit some edges around right there, right over here. We did get the matte green, so it sits a little flat. Maybe we should have gotten the gloss, but I think it's gonna look solid once we get that second coat going. Right now it's feeling like a little military camp, but I think once we get it evened out, it's gonna look clean. While we let that dry up, I think it's only right we wet the whistle. Alright, we're just gonna put the second coat now, and I'll show you guys in a little bit how it's looking. Alright, everybody, it's been a day. We've had family over the whole time. We got the computer here next to there. I don't know if you guys could tell, I'm pretty sure. We ain't got that much space here. But now we got the Melco in the corner. We'll get that lit up well. We'll get the Tajima right next to it. Got that clean wall, right? So we just gotta scoot that right over there. And then everything else that's on the floor and stuff, we just gotta set it up. We got the heat press, sweaters, and the sweaters.
These things are real life.
What?
These things. Daddy, these things for works.
Yeah, baby.
Daddy, why are you putting this thing over here?
We're just moving stuff around.
Okay, I want to do it for...
What's up, Mom? It is now Tuesday. We started this on Friday, and I think it's time we finally get this finished. I'll show you guys around how everything ended up. I was thinking of doing a separate video, but I don't think there's enough. our space is really small. I don't think there's enough that, you know, I need a whole video. So I'll show you guys real quick, and then we'll get to embroidering our hat for the channel. Probably couldn't see it that well in the car, but it's this hat right here. 5-panel. The brand Academy Fits. It's got like a nice blue on it. It's white, and then a gray brim. So whatever our logo ends up being, it'll probably be a combination of the blue and the gray, so it could really pop yet match with the brim as well. The good thing about this setup is that when I'm recording the Tajima, I'm not worried about getting our washing machine, some of this junk. Now it's all in the back there, and I really don't have to shoot in this direction much. We didn't paint the green all the way. That's kind of like my mom's side, so that's kind of like the only uglyish, you know, part of shooting this way, but I think it's much better. The lights, we had them before, just kind of like a little vibey orange color, and I'll probably be using this light here just to illuminate the Tajima, because without it, it actually is kind of dark, at least for the videos. Before this channel, I actually had a gaming channel, and I went by Kirk Betzel KB. So some time ago, I made this hat right here that actually did pretty good. So I'm gonna use the same font, kind of the same technique there for today's hat. In that hat, the KB is 3D puff, and as an outline in the background that's not 3D puff. I think for today we're gonna do TK flat, and then stitch laid on top of it 3D puff. We'll go into the details right now, and I will also show you the first couple of other designs I was planning on doing, but they weren't looking so good. So let me just show you what we're gonna be doing. I'll try to make this all pretty brief, but the basics here, I'm using Hatch 2 in case anybody's wondering. There is a Hatch 3 version, but Hatch 2 I think is perfect pretty much the way it is. There's like quality of life improvements in the third, but I can't justify paying the extra to get it. But up to you. You should be able to do this type of stuff with anything anyways. We are using fonts that are in Hatch, and luckily the one that I am doing, I don't need to tweak it for 3D puff, which usually involves creating caps at the end of certain shapes so the foam doesn't sticking out. But I do have to fix the density, and I do have to fix the underlay so that you only have the center run holding down the foam and then the stitch on top. That's pretty much the basics of 3D puff. If you want to see more 3D puff embroidery and digitizing, I have a few more videos. If you would like to check them on the channel, they're up there. So let's try to get through this real quick. Again, lettering. We got TK here. This was the first idea. Let's change this to Woodstock. I'll try to speed run this so we can get to the official one, and then get that one going perfectly. But it was going to be something like this. I think it doesn't matter the details. The point is it was going to be something like this, right? And then I was going to digitize a open shape. This was supposed to be like the thread running through it. And the cool part of it in my head was going to be that some of these letters were going to be, so it's all together. If I come over here, break apart, then I could mess around with the placement of them. So the cool thing was going to be that, you know, it would go in front of certain letters and back of others, like this, right? Maybe even in some we could have made it so that it kind of went through one letter. So let's knife this. How does this go? Like that. Something like this, right? You get the idea. But it just wasn't looking as good as I thought it was gonna look. And the second thing that I actually was planning on making the video on was something like this. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Something like this, and then having stitch again running through it. I might have used the same font. It was gonna be like this, and then I was gonna go into the background shape. So the TK was gonna be 3D puff, and then I was gonna not break it apart. Well, knife all around the shape so that the stitch that was gonna be flat would embroider nicely and not just go over all the 3D puff. So I'm just knifing the big areas in the back, right? And I was gonna do the complete thing. I'll do that real quick, fast forward, just to see why I didn't go with it. Here is what was supposed to be. I think the idea of it is pretty cool. This would have been flat. I would have also done a flat outline in the background of this, but I just think it messed with the letters too much. The letter as it is, it's cursive and maybe not completely obvious what letter it is. So especially with all this going on right here, I think it just kind of like destroyed, um, the clarity of it. And this is what we are going to be doing. I'll break it down in just a second. So the stitch is going to be 3D puff. That's the only thing. Again, luckily this font doesn't seem to need much tweaking to make it stitch out nicely with the 3D puff. And the TK and the outline are going to be simple, flat designed. But pretty much what I did here. Let me delete this. Right, you have your two letters. You come over here to create layouts, create outlines, satin, select, and the outline here, and then I think I did like a pretty big size so that we get a nice border. Then just send it up the order, so that it sits in the back how it's supposed to. And then the stitch, I just typed it out. The font is Carla, and it's gonna go boom right there in the middle. Put this back before I mess it up too much. And then I'll probably do 2.3 instead of doing the biggest size possible that I usually do, which is 2.5. I think I'll stick with 2.3, and should be okay. Should be all right. The TK and the outline, I'll leave it for now. I am gonna run the test, and I've done when I did the other video. What ended up happening in areas like this, where there's like a kind of like a curve, maybe here, the outline kind of gets pulled in too much, and there's not much of it. I'm gonna let it run as is, and then I'll come back and maybe pull these areas more like this if I need to. But for now, let's go on to stitch. I haven't messed with anything of its properties, so let's just go ahead and remove the second underlay and the center run. For the fill, I'm gonna come in, put manual spacing, and I'm gonna put 0.8. That's in inches. And let's see how it'll stitch out. There's a bit of overlapping here, but it's all going to be flat. I'm not worried about it. There should be no issues. Then we'll do the top. Same, pretty standard. And then you got your center run and your satin fill with the red puff in it. But yeah, I think that's gonna look pretty cool. Let me show you guys the hat again, and then I'm gonna go with these exact colors. Let me know if you guys would have picked other colors to go with this hat. If so, let me know in the comments. I'm gonna save this onto the USB already so we could run it and get moving. As I mentioned, the under brim is gray. That's gonna be the outline of the TK, and then to match the top, that's gonna be the main TK letters, and then I'm just gonna add that stitch in red just to like stand out. I think that's the one where it could go either way, maybe even black, but I don't know. I'm always drawn to the red color. It just pops. Blue and red, black and red, golden red. I like all those color combinations, so I'm gonna go with it, and I think it's gonna look pretty dang nice. Actually forgot to find the color that I want for the blue of this one. It's not really that navy blue. I think I'm gonna go with something that's almost black, like a really dark blue. I've got, well, it's not as dark as black, but more like a midnight blue, I guess you could say, because the color on the hat is really soft, kind of like pastel, maybe. This is too bright. This or this. I think I'm going for this one so far. For my test stitch outs, I usually fold a sheet of this. This is 2.5 cutaway stabilizer. So it's technically 2 sheets of this cutaway stabilizer, and I don't mind also using the 2-meter hoops, at least for the test runs. I feel like they actually work pretty well. So let's let this finish. I'll show you guys how it looks, and we'll get right to the hat. All right, no troubles. Got a little bit of puff sticking out right here, but with these surgical little tweezers. So this here, it's actually pretty open. I might have to go in there and close this off a little better. Or is that just a thread? I'm gonna double check and hatch it, see if the ending of this it's gonna need a cap or not. I think just burning it like that, I'm not sure if you guys can see, it looks pretty good. Let me cut this out so I can put it on top. I'm thinking I might go the full 2.5 inches just because this hat does have a pretty high crown. 2.5. We'll see right now. Let's cut this up. Here it is, our little makeshift patch right there. Boom. Also, the other thing I have to check, good thing that I cut this out to do this, is I think right now the midpoint is the bottom of this K here. So naturally it would kind of sit like this. And from my eyes, it looks like it's shifted too much to this side here. So I might make the point maybe just a tad bit more in between the T and the K. So it looks more centered this way. You know, kind of like ignoring this part here. But what do you guys think? I think it's gonna look pretty sick. Pretty sick. Check this out, everybody. Yeah, actually this part here is wide open. But what we could do, we're gonna click here. We're gonna break apart. Come over here, break apart. And now we can mess with this end right here. Pop that like that. There might be a little bit of foam sticking out from there, but it'll make the whole thing much better. Let's go ahead, size this up to the 2.5. And as you can see, the midpoint is right here. Let's go ahead and digitize. We're gonna stick, you know, obviously in height we're gonna stick here, but maybe around here. Boom. So this will be the center of the hat right here. Okay, I'm gonna scoot it just a little bit over. I went back to the hat and I kind of want it along here. That's where it looks like it's gonna be pretty good. So there we go, 2.5, shifted the whole thing over. Everything else was fine. Let's get this hat hooped and ready to go. I won't be using any stabilizer. I'm doing 3D puff. This thing's already got plenty of cushion on it. I don't expect any turbulence with this one. Let's center this down. I'm not going as low as I can. I don't want the machine to rub up on the bill over here and leave a mark. But if I have to bring it a little bit lower, if I see a lot of movement here, then I would have to bring it lower, because once the machine starts coming up here and it kind of starts hitting the arm that's in there, that's when you start running into some issues. Broken thread for sure, and a bunch of entanglements. It looks pretty big, the design, but that's because the outline that sits in the back takes up most of that space, but I feel like it doesn't draw much attention from it, so it doesn't actually look as big as the full 2.5. Let's click the green button and get her going. So there's actually two crazy loose loops on the satin. Now I'm just gonna cut them off. The other part of it is gonna embroider over half of this satin anyways. I don't think that's gonna go anywhere if I cut these little threads off. And on top of that, I might not even be passing the lighter over this fuzzy material that the hat has. Can turn a little brown. Saw that last time when I did the that deer hat, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, because we do have to clean up the puff. Now that I think about it, don't know if the heat gun or the lighter is gonna be the way to go. Here we are, people. Let's remove that carefully. Nice, no foam there, no puff right there. Oh yeah. The cleanup I'm doing here, just gonna take off this thread. The puff that I see is between the dot of the eye and the stick. If I could push it in, great. If not, I might just take it out. But besides that, it looks clean. I am actually going to hit it with the heat gun. I do want this to be very clean as well, and if I ever do 3D puff for a client on this hat, I need to know what I'm getting myself into and if I'm able to clean it correctly. So a good test run on that end as well. this from that thread that I cut earlier. Let's go ahead and snip that out. Never happened. Here we are, everybody. Clean, clean, clean. As always, I like to end my videos on a few notes about whatever we did for the day. Rarely do I ever get something perfect the first time. And same with this one. It is not completely perfect. Here's what I would fix. Of course, that outline at the top up here, we lost it. So I could bring the whole design down. The reason why it squishes so much is it's already on the curve of this hat here, so everything just gets a little bit squished. So I could either extend the outline or bring the whole design down, and that should fix it. The other thing, this gray I thought would pop way more. It does match the underbrim better than the other dark gray that I have, so I went with this one, but it's too close to the white of the hat itself, so that already makes it like not stand out as much. But the blue and the red, the puff, telling you guys, blue and red, anything with red in it always pops nicely. That is it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed. It's been a minute since I uploaded, and this video altogether did take a long time recording here and there. But anyways, I'm gonna get to editing this thing so I could upload it ASAP. As always, like and sub if you do like all things embroidery. That's what we're about here. That's it for me. Have a good one. Deuces.